What's up guys, Mike here, and today we are looking at 5 of the biggest revenge games in NBA history. I'm talking about games where some player was embarrassed, where the crowd hated him, where he was hurt, and then that player bounced back and absolutely dominated the other team. I'm telling you, these 5 performances are absolutely sick. They include guys like, Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter, Michael Jordan. When you have names like that, you know it's gonna be a good list. But before we do that, I am happy to say that this video is sponsored by Honey. Now, I'm telling you, Honey is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to you because it's a free browser extension that saves you money when you go to buy stuff. That's right, it's a simple add-on, it's free, but when you go to purchase something online, Honey searches around the web for coupons so that you can save money. So in order to get Honey and start saving money, let's go to joinhoney.com/Korzemba, then click here, add Honey, it's free. Click add, then join with Facebook or your email to show you the proof of just how amazing this is. I'm buying a jersey on NBA.com. Honey pops up when I go to pay. I click, and next thing I know, I saved $30. $30! So yeah, guys, you just saw the proof right there. The link to join Honey is down below, or go to joinhoney.com/Korzemba and just download Honey because why wouldn't you? It's free, it saves you money, it's just amazing. And now let's look at 5 of the biggest revenge games in NBA history. Number 5, Kobe Bryant. The one thing you did not want to do in a basketball game was make Kobe Bryant mad. Because when Kobe got mad, Kobe made you pay. So, when Ron Artest, one of the better defenders in the NBA, got in Kobe's face and the two ended up shoving each other, Ron should have known he made a massive mistake. Now, at this point in time, there's about 5 minutes, 45 seconds left in the game, and the Lakers are only up by 2. But Kobe is angry, and so let's watch him swat Ron on a layup. Then he forces a turnover with 5 minutes left, and then things become ridiculous. Look at the clock. There's about 4 minutes, 15 seconds left here. Keep that in mind. Now, let's watch as Kobe blows by Ron Artest and finishes with an end one. He makes the free throw. The next possession spins by Ron and drains a 3. On defense, Kobe steals the ball from Ron, then feeds Luke Walton, and then jump to 1 minute, 45 seconds left. Lakers are only up by 2, but Kobe makes a sick layup. Next time on offense, Ron just cannot guard him, and Kobe hits another jumper. So, with 38.5 seconds left, Ron isn't guarding Kobe anymore. I wonder why. But Kobe still goes right at Shane Battier and hits an end one jumper. He made that free throw and would finish the game by knocking down 5 more free throws down the stretch, which means if you're counting at home, Ron Artest made Kobe mad, and so in 4 minutes and 15 seconds, Kobe scores 18 points. 18 points in about 4 minutes. That is absurd. And to make things even better, the Lakers would win the championship this year, and their closest series was actually against the Houston Rockets. This was a series that featured a game 2 in which Kobe dropped 40 and said that nobody on Houston could guard him, and the Black Mamba would average 27 points for the series in total and lead the Lakers to a 7-game win. Kobe, I just miss you. Number 4, Michael Jordan. It seems hard to believe now, but there was a time that Michael Jordan was not seen as the best basketball player in the world, and instead was seen as someone who would never win a championship. A major reason for this was the Detroit Pistons, as in the late 1980s, the Bulls first lost to the Pistons in the Eastern Conference semifinals, then they lost to Detroit in back-to-back years in the Eastern Conference Finals. So you can certainly see a rivalry was brewing there, but before we continue that story, let's take a quick break and look at one of the greatest revenge plays you will ever see from Michael Jordan. Because here we have Bill Laimbeer, resident, not the greatest guy in the world, annoy Michael Jordan, the two almost fight, and now Mike is heated. So shortly after, Jordan grabs the ball, goes baseline, and dunks in Bill Laimbeer's face. Awesome. Just awesome. Anyway, the Bulls continued to lose to the Pistons. People said Michael wasn't a winner, and so we have a stage set for the perfect revenge. Because in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals, the Bulls were again matched up against the Pistons, and this time they were just tired of the bad boys. It was in this series that Mike would seriously begin to prove himself as the best player on the planet, as he would average 30 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds a game while annihilating the Pistons on the way to a Chicago Bulls sweep. sweep. Let's just put this into perspective for a second. The Bulls and Michael Jordan lost to these guys 3 times in a row in the playoffs. And in 1991, the Detroit Pistons were the defending back-to-back NBA champions, which is why it was such a surprise that Michael Jordan walked onto the court and just destroyed them. It was so bad that after game 4, the Pistons showed they had no class at all and just walked off the court without shaking hands. But I don't really blame them because they got straight up embarrassed. Number 3, Brad Miller. Okay, this is going to be the only non-superstar revenge on this list, but trust me, it's a great one because we are going to one of the greatest first-round playoff series of all time, the Chicago Bulls versus the Boston Celtics. This series was insane. It was the coming out party for Derrick Rose. It showed us just how amazing Ray Allen was. It really had it all, and it especially had close games. So let's jump to game 5, where an unlikely hero story begins. Because on this Bulls team, Brad Miller was a complete role player as he was nearing the end of his career. Still though, he was valuable and often found himself playing crunch time, which is why he was on the court for game 5. And with the Bulls down by 2, Brad found himself open and attempted a game-tying layup as time expired. Now, the man got fouled really hard here. So hard he lost a tooth, but he would lose more than that, as when he stepped to the free throw line to tie the game, he missed a free throw and thus the Bulls lost. But luckily for Chicago, Miller would have his revenge. So let's fast forward to game 6, where the Celtics are up by 5 points and can basically put away the game. Except they miss, Brad Miller grabs the rebound, runs up the court, spots up for 3, and bang, it's a 2-point game. Next possession, same thing. Miller grabs a defensive rebound, heads up the court, spots up, this time drives to the basket and ties the game. Now, let's jump to double overtime. Again, this series was incredible, and Brad Miller knocks down 2 huge free throws to put the Bulls up by 3 with 20 seconds left. Now, Ray Allen does do Ray Allen things, so he ties the game with a 3-pointer, which means we're in a 3rd overtime, and again, come crunch time, Brad Miller ends up at the line, needs to sink both free throws, and does, thus getting rid of the small demons that had appeared when he choked away game 5. Brad would finish with 23 points and 10 rebounds, awesome numbers for him at the time, but the Bulls would lose game 7. Still though, old Brad Miller did it. Number 2, LeBron James. Before we start this, I just want to say that LeBron's revenge game against the Warriors was too obvious. I mean, it was really recent, we've talked about it a lot, so let's go back to the 2011 season here, where LeBron is first going to return to Cleveland. Now, remember, going into this game, Cleveland fans hated LeBron. The narrative was that against the Boston Celtics in the 2010 Eastern Conference semifinals, LeBron just kind of gave up. That year, the Cavs were supposed to be the best team in the Eastern Conference. They had 61 wins and finished with the best record, but game 5 saw LeBron shoot 3 for 14 from the floor as Cleveland lost by 32 points before losing game 6 and ending their season. There, of course, were rumors that LeBron gave up on his team because Delonte West got a little too close to his mom, but whatever the case, LeBron ruined his relationship with the city of Cleveland at the time when he decided to go on national television to tell Cavs fans, hey, I'm leaving you and I'm taking my talents to South Beach. And so let's fast forward here, and now we're in the 2011 season and LeBron is playing the Cavs in Cleveland for the first time. Again, the fans hated him. The stands were full of signs making fun of LeBron. When the game first tipped off, the crowd rained boos down on the Miami Heat, and whenever LeBron touched the ball, the boos got a whole lot worse. Those boos would continue throughout the game, but early in the first quarter, LeBron showed Cavs fans that simple boos were not going to stop him. He would connect on an early jump shot, and from there, LeBron was everywhere on the court. His jumper was on as he nailed tough shot after tough shot. When he decided to take the ball to the basket, no one on the Cavs could stop him as he was simply too strong. And when Cleveland tried to double team him, the King found his teammates for open shots with ease. By the time the game was over, Miami had blown out the Cavaliers by 28 points, and LeBron had gotten his revenge on all of the fans who had turned on him when he left. The ones who burned his jerseys, the ones who were booing him non-stop. It turns out, hating on one of the best basketball players of all time isn't the smartest thing to do, as LeBron finished with a monster 38.8 assist performance. Of course, LeBron would return to these same fans who booed him and bring them a championship, which to me really does show all of us just how much LeBron does love the city of Cleveland. And number 1, Vince Carter. Vince Carter quit on the Toronto Raptors in his final year there. The proof of that is in his stats. He averaged 15.9 points per game for the Raptors in 2005, got traded to the Nets, then averaged 27.5 points per game for the Nets. The proof was also in his attitude on and off the court, as he seemed completely uninterested in Toronto Raptors basketball. And just going even further here, the proof came from Vince himself, as he said, "I didn't try as hard as I could when I was playing for the Raptors." So, could you really blame Toronto for hating Vince Carter? I obviously cannot, and I'm not even positive that this counts as a revenge game for Vince, because he really might be the villain here. Still, the man was a 5-time All-Star in Toronto, and I could see why he'd get angry that fans who once loved him now completely hated him. And when a basketball player is hated, the best way he can get back at those fans is to completely dominate them. That is exactly what Vince did in his first game back in Toronto. Feeding off the boos and the anger of the home fans, Vince was practically unstoppable. Now, the Raptors actually did take a 14-point lead going into the second half, but it was then that Vince completely took over. He began to take it to the basket, he knocked down threes, he scored clutch baskets, and when it was all said and done, he dropped 39 points in a New Jersey Nets win. To make things even worse for Raptors fans, the next year, Vince visited Toronto again, and this time he dropped 42 points and connected on a game-winning 3. So, Toronto Raptors fans, I'm sorry, I think you lost this battle. So, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to this channel and you love basketball, make sure to subscribe. I do videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around 6 p.m. Eastern, and the NBA playoffs are coming up, then it's the draft, then it's free agency. There's gonna be a ton of sick content here, so if you love basketball, again, subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome, we all know it, and as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music.